conversation too, as we do load into the ref for our very first game of this second series tonight. And it's a big one. As we've already mentioned, if you're just tuning in, this is a battle, as you would say, in the middle of the table. Iron coming into this one with 3 points. They were tied with Direwolves coming into today. Fury in 7th with only a single point to the name, but we did mention just how hard their run has been. They've had to endure Bliss, Antic, and Grand Zero back to back to back. So, assuming they've not completely boomed from that point, now should be, you know, that downward slope should be plain sailing now.
Yeah, definitely. Fury has gone through the hardest of hards, versing all our best teams. So finally they get to verse someone who's more on their playing field. It'll be a very big confidence boost if they're able to pick up the game, or even the 2-0. I think that they are a very good team. But on the other hand, Ion are also one of our really, really strong teams who are sitting at the middle of the pack. They have shown a lot of proficiency against our top teams, doing really good in the early games, but just unable to really, translate the leads they're generating. When I am looking at the Ion comp though, I always joke about how Ezreal on the current patch just doesn't do any damage. So I think that if Styx and Hexflash are unable to generate advantages in the 2v2s based on what we've seen overseas and how strong Leona is in the 2v2, I don't think he's going to do as much damage as Hooper in these fights. He doesn't really have access to that strong armor pen item. He doesn't really utilize crit as well. And if he wants to go for the Soreldas, there's just not as much damage there. As we see Styx just losing so much health level 1, Fino finding a really nice engaged level 1, and I think this swings how the matchup works a lot, because Ezreal all about getting your passive stacked up early level 1 on the wave, pushing, using your mystic shots to harass people who try to trade with you. But Ashe, also another really strong champ in the early game, is able to use the volley, use that crit onto the slow targets to the extra bit of damage on every auto, and just really, find advantages in the early game, Skinner.
Yeah, both obviously wanted to weave in and stack up, but certainly that to be favoured of Fury right now. As you mentioned, finally getting a really good read on level 1. And in that same conversation, I suppose, it's a case of you need to have a bit of a license to pilot the Ezreal. We've certainly seen our fair share of those that have tried. And if you're not too well-versed in it, you might as well play something else instead. We'll keep tabs on how that bot lane goes. As it stands, though, mid lane, I think... should this be Orianna favoured to start with? You've seen in the past, certainly if they can weave in their auto attacks, they just do so much extra damage early on.
Well, both mid lanes have gone for Comet, so they both really want to win this lane. I would always give the range advantage to Hui, but the main problem with Hui is his cooldowns are longer than Orianna, so we get to see Ori, moving the ball around, being able to find, not as strong trades, but trades more often, so be able to generate more priority in the lane in the 1v1. You can also shield out a lot of the damage coming from Hui, which is very, predictable. So that's the one strong thing, as we see the solo kill coming out of Jovi already. So this is the strength of Ori in the early game. We get to see, paired with the Comet, 2 points into the distance, does so much damage in the early game.
And as we mentioned, should it be stronger? Well, certainly is, if it's a case of getting a 3-minute first blood to really set the tone and showcase who is looking to try and get the win here today. You can see Coley just at a range right now, hanging by the grub spawn, just to see if he can find himself a lane gank, or perhaps somebody going for a little bit of deep vision. As we know, Fino wrapping around to try and go and find himself a fight. There goes Sonic Wave, waiting for him to jump it in for that execute damage, not to find it, but the flash will certainly confirm it. And for all that good work in the first 30 seconds of laning, it's actually going to get turned around, and it's Ion that pick up 2.
Yeah, Ion just attacked that little gap of, disconnection coming out of Fury. We see Nox is piling into bot lane, so the Fury bot lane feels a bit safer than they were, because, they split up, as we do go in the replay for the solo kill mid, so I'm curious how this happened. I'm pretty sure Jovi just muscled him out with his, it's a bit too much damage here coming out of the Orianna, waits for his cooldown, and actually just, flashes on and executes it now.
That's what happens here. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Just weave in an auto attack as you flash away. You can't dodge that. It's already been lined up and is travelling right towards you. And this is a perfect situation to start this game off with, right? Let's see if they can answer back with anything of their own, because Findo, as well as Nox, are linking up to make this happen. Flash forward, guarantee the stun with that Joust, and then pounce upon him to guarantee that the damage will land. Nox gets amongst it, and he'll be there to pick up the killing blow. And now, as a group, they can collect this wave, push it in, and look to bully at Coley.
Yeah, this is one of the problems that you have, when you lose Flash as these mid laners. This is the reason why we see so many tier 2 boot rushes in these mage matchups, is because you're so mobile, you're so susceptible to being ganked, and you need to really change how you play in the 1v1 when you lose your summoner. You don't have this, get out jail free card. So, Jovi still playing aggressive in his 1v1, steps past the creep wave, tries to zone him off farm, but, we see the jungle support come out of base, go for that very easy gank on the Jovi, and, mid lane's a bit safe now.
Well, top has been the quietest of them all, I suppose, as is usual when we check in with this one. But What do we know of Maple Syrup? Have you had a chance to verse them in solo queue, perhaps?
No, I don't know anything personally, Skimmy, and I'm curious to see like what he likes to do as a player, and even if like this is his main role, because we have seen a lot of off-role players recently, like in Refute in the jungle. So it's good to see that he did just pick the Renekton. No, he's not just going to slam a Malphite and just hand over the lane. He's playing a champ who can still create pressure in these skirmishes. So Fury aren't too worried if it is left on an island, because their main focus for the past couple of weeks has always been about the spot side.
It certainly has been. So let's keep our focus on it now as we get to watch them rush towards level 6. Coley in the same area again, perhaps looking for a little bit of deja vu as they have a control ward in that tri-bush, protecting his advance from Gromp into the river itself, but will be spotted by that pixel bush if he decides to step out of the shrub for a second. As you can see now, as the observers fantastically toggle between two. So any chance for him to try and answer back with another kill is certainly going to be pushed to the wayside, but he is going to take full advantage of the fact that, well, I can sneak in between your wards and I can just start up the dragon.
Yeah, I think it's so important to get this dragon stacking, because I would say there's a slight scaling advantage to the Fury side. I think both mid laners scale pretty evenly, but I would always give it to the Ashe role when it comes to those late game team fights. So it's good to see that using the Ezreal priority in the early game thanks to that gank to get dragon stacking, because they really need the soul point to be able to navigate those mid late game team fights.
Mostly very early on into this one, but it is a 1k lead already for Ion to be quite chuffed with. So first dragon goes their way. Nox can be quite content with picking up 2 grubs, gets the second to 50%, and with the assistance of his Renekton is looking to try and fend off any attempts from Lee Sin as well as Ori to bully them out, but then says, you know what, I've had enough of this one. You're up against the terrain, flash heroic charge off against the wall. What can you do? I didn't even spare is there, and Maple Syrup announces himself as the sweetest of them all with his first kill.
Yeah, sorry for walking into river there, Skimmy, but they're going to find the trade kill onto Findo. Collie doesn't have access to flash. Fury throws the whole kitchen sink at him. Easy skill to pick up there. And I'm curious about this 1v1 in the bot lane, because Ezreal's really good in these extended trades where he's going to constantly find this poke. Unfortunately, doesn't land the important ability either, so he's not going to be able to do the damage that he needs to, and Hooper's going to be able to be much more comfortable in this 1v1 if the map continues to be like this.
Such a strong component of Ezreal's damage, right, is to retain all those attack speed buffs, all those stacks of the attack speed buff, rather, for as long as possible to try and eke out those advantages. But simply will just hit the True Shot Barrage at the end there, just to trim that wave as much as he can. And all is okay for the meantime. My only concern with this one is that Styx has gone for the cleanse himself, whereas Hooper has not. So surely if there's a situation for the Leona to pounce upon him, he'd be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, and that's the main reason why we saw Hooper fall down in the early game to that gank, where
the tank support can be a little bit rough at times. I suppose it's in a similar conversation here too, right? You can obviously be so strong, you can bully your advantage as an Ashe, itemizing towards that crit. But then if you don't have the uptime because you're just constantly CC'd, it does feel a little bit bad. Well, by the way, and see as to how it does materialize in the end, as he does go back to base and pick up some Zerka Greaves, so he's going to be sitting pretty happy for the meantime. Same to be said for Styx, who finds his first big purchase with the Sheen as well as the Tear. So I suppose really in terms of game state right now, yes, it was a small lead in favor of Iron, but pretty even across the board.
Yeah, this game state is going, or this game is going pretty much as we expected. A lot of trading in top lane, but just a lot of not so much happening, just trading of CS. We see Jovi picking up the tier 2 brute, so yeah, he's recognized that I'm very susceptible to these ganks, especially if an Ashe hero comes out of the fog of war, so I need to be mobile.
Here's the Ashe ult all the way from bot lane straight into that mid position as Hexflash was caught roaming. Is it enough to get the kill? No, Smite tried to come out to get it done, but it wasn't to be. So he lives to fight another day, and now Maple Syrup gets to really enjoy what it's like to play in a competitive landscape. You will just get dived. You will be left out to dry, because the same will happen bot side. Whilst you dying top side, your team is making a play to try and force out a trade, but unfortunately for them, they can't find it.
Yeah, Styx is able to live there, thankfully, but that was a really, really nice dive from Ion. I think that's a very hard to execute dive. Maple Syrup, doesn't use the stun onto probably the correct member. I think that you really need to stun Collie up there because he's going to do so much of the damage in that dive. But Doraemon does such a good job to use the Pathmaker to really dodge that Renekton stun and just get out the tower dive so easily.
Maybe the attention was that much of a threat, and very close. They're having a bit of an unfortunate reset back to base as the camp does eventually get taken on through. Great flash forward from Fino. The Joust finds 2 and it's stunned. The Soliflare goes out and stunned underneath the tower. I think Iron actually went out ahead with the assistance of that one. it becomes so favorable, and now it becomes a race. Can you get back to base before the wraparound Lee Sin comes to find you?
I think you will be able to get out on time, you know, based on having a vision, but you had access to the hammer as well if you had to use that to be able to get out easily. But, you know, I was really happy with that. We saw Finder commit the flash and ignite, but they only trade 2 for 2, so they're going to be very happy with that. As we do go on to replay, we see Styx, you know, playing aggressive. It's honestly surprising for him that they decide to stay around like this, but it should be obvious based on how Hooper's playing. But unfortunately, like, Hooper, you know, throws an all-attack into the turret, doesn't have the cleanse, so he's just sitting. He's a sitting duck when he gets locked up by this Leona.
Yeah, it's rough. It really is rough. And whilst he has a pretty major CS lead now into the Ezreal, he's going to continue to fall victim to that combo they have. CC, as you say, it's certainly going to feel pretty good for Ion to know they got out with a 2 for 2, despite really getting overrun with that amount of pressure. Second Dragon, though. First one going the way of Ion. Next one's up in 20 seconds. Ocean Drake to be taken. As Fury looks to try and control, as well as command, I suppose, the river in their favor, utilizing the fact that their bot lane is pretty advanced up, but a nice deep lane ward allows them to TP into this one. Keep his verdict to knock back the Leona and say, now surely this is a winning fight, but Doraemon has other ideas in mind. Fantastic kick to knock back Hooper, and Corley survives. He jumps out and he gets a double with the fadeaway Q. And now Nox thinks, surely they're not going to be here, right? Hang on a minute, they are! Flashback to the tower! And with 100 HP to his name, it really is a case of, where do I go?
Yeah, flashing to his doom anyway, Skimmy, it doesn't really matter. But this is Doraemon's expertise, like creating a TP advantage from that dive that they pulled off earlier, so he's able to use that to counter gank the pressure coming out of bot. Not even sure if you were able to win that 3v3 that was going to come out. We see Corley completed the item, we see Hex Flash level 6 advantage over Findo, so I think they were very happy taking that 3v3 if Fury decided to go aggressive here. But onto Jovi, I don't know if they have the damage to me.
It was a really good shockwave actually, because it completely destroys the combo that Findo was looking to try and answer back with, but now he turns it on the aggressive. He says, you know what, you missed your chance, so now I'll punish you. He finds one, and now looking to line up the second, so there becomes the double kill. And this Orianna is starting to become a problem.
And it's the strength of the Merc Treads. He's able to avoid so much of the CC and damage coming out of Fury with the extra move speed that he has. And thanks to that, he's able to find those 2 kills back on trade. This is just like these really small things that keep happening for Ion that are getting these huge leads.
Oh, what an ultimate there from Doraemon. Absolutely superb there with the all-out. Has to wait for the cooldown, flashes over because he's impatient and says, you know what, a new challenger joins the battle. I'll turn my sights on towards Nox. But even he has run away from this one, and if they'd stuck around that river any longer, that Ash Shower was all the way connecting from bot.
How unfair, Skimmy. You're just trying to CS some minions on your turret and you just get kidnapped out of your own lane.
Legit. It's one of those moments, where you just do scream into the void and say, Riot, what is this? Why does this champion do it all?
You know, I'm glad more champs don't do that.
I will never stop laughing at those stupid memes where it's like some new champion like Viego or whatever comes out. Here's their passive. Now Nasus gains lifesteal. Absolute Chad.
Yeah, but it's actually funny, you know, talking about Nasus' passive, it's not even linear. It just randomly doubles at certain points in the game. Like, it's not like, oh, you gain 2% lifesteal per level. It's like, no, at level 7, it just doubles in effectiveness. I don't know. Nasus slept on. It's a slept on passive, though, I will admit.
That's what we need, bro. That's what we need. The Renekton versus Nasus top lane. We're no longer talking about comps and their viabilities. We're just going full lore. Let's become a bit of a lore master and see who knows more about the game. And I'll tell you what, it definitely won't be me.
What? Okay, talking about lore, like a lore team scheme. Who do you think is the strongest region? Like a region-based team?
Well, I would just make an entire team based off Arcane because I love Arcane.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it's like the easiest one to win with.
And when Season 2 drops, they're going to buff all the champs, Gibby.
True!
Arcade roster.
I remember when Season 1 came out and all we were talking about, like, oh my god, it's Jace from Arcane. I love Arcane. Bat chest. Unending Despair comes across. And X-Flash is not feeling too happy about that one. Caught out in mid lane. Instant cleanse out of the Ash shot, which Styx is under a lot of damage as the poke from that of a way is a little bit too much. So Styx is completely forced to play that of a Spell Slinger. And everybody converging on mid lane. Side lane's completely forgotten about. And what is it we're playing for here, guys? The Herald is up and available. And everybody believes that is worth fighting for.
Yeah, Fury have thrown their cooldowns already, so they found their pick, but they're cancelling their bases. They do have the TP from Chirp, does have his first item. I think they want to fight this, but if they look at the map, Hooper is nowhere near.
Yeah, he's actually only now coming back from the base, using that Hawk Vision to understand where the rest of Iron could be. TP coming in here from Chirp, but it's not going to be Styx that's amongst this fight right now. So it will be a 4v5 whilst Ion keep that Herald entertained. It's down to 50%. But Shelly might get a little bit confused in a second. Am I resetting? Am I switching my aggro? What is the focus right now? But look how clumped up Fury are. It's the prime position for a fantastic shockwave. And that might be exactly what Jovi's looking for right now. Goes for the two-man. Couple that with a true shot barrage and just instantly destroy that on Nox. He's down for 20. Maple jumps in, but he's got no backup, so he'll fall on down soon after. And it is a very one-sided affair.
Yeah, we saw a really nice engage coming out of Chirp. He finds the, the fear tether. Nox goes in with the engage onto the wall, but they funnel into that choke. They get hit with a multi-man shockwave, multi-man true shot barrage. There's so much AoE coming out of the Ion side, and, even Cassandre, like, throwing that path make onto so many members, just shredding the entire Fury roster.
A little bit too much damage to try and get themselves through. Let's run it back with the replay one more time, because this feels like a very dicey little dance they were doing.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit too much of an overcommittal onto the front line. I don't think Coley is a particularly strong member that he's commit so many cooldowns onto, but they just all commit into this choke. Styx does a really good job to use the arcane shift to reposition, get away from the flash that came out of Chirp, and they just lived there. It was easy for them.
Well, now at 16 minutes, Iron start to really gather themselves a bit of a mid lane gold lead to actually really shout about, up by close to 4k it would sound. As Fury are left to find answers to get themselves back into this one. You mentioned some of the itemization, primarily for that of the Ashe. Has opted for the Kraken Slayer Rush on this occasion. Not going for the Trinity Force as you would have liked, but we might be going for a bit of a repeat fight here. It's a nice little disengage with the Steadfast Presence, not allowing Hexflash to jump in there. But the Solar Flare means that next on the agenda is this with the Renekton. Nice bit of damage from Styx across the wall. And there is Doraemon to play cleanup crew. The two bruises leading the line are the ones to pick up all the gold.
Yeah, very easy. The Fury once again always being on the front foot, trying to see. But we see Flash onto Hooper. Has Flash though, gets the reposition.
Can he get out of this one? It's Hexflash just the focus of all this damage coming out of Hooper right now. He's undeterred. He knows he's got a teammate, so he's just literally running him down, keeping him slow, getting vision and getting a kill. Coley's dead. Looks more, but Styx just hits him with a bit of damage to his face and completely takes him out of the picture. There's the second with a fantastic snipe. And now a little bit of a dance. He's getting clean with it because he's 7-1-7.
Yeah, and we talked about, is this Ezreal going to be able to find the lead in the early game that he needs to mitigate the problems that he has in his item build right now. He doesn't really have good items to build after the third, fourth item, but with the gold lead that he has and the amount of team fights that Arn keeps winning, I think he's very happy with this game state.
Certainly should be. Warmog's picked up as well, so now Leona's already hit full build. I'm just going to always go with this. Like, every single time I see a Warmog, I'm like, somewhere in the world, Tally right now is smiling.
Yeah, and it's just such a good item, especially into Hui. Hui's damage very hard to stick. A lot of it is poke, a lot of skill shot based, and to be able to just exit the fight, walk off a lot of the poke that's going to come out the Severing Bolt is
comprehend what's going on. And obviously, Jovi's been in a league of his own, really has outclassed at a Chirp so far this game. So I suppose to throw things around, what is it that Few should do? Should it be continue just to run towards this Herald and hope to entertain a fight?
I think based on this game state, it's going to be way too hard to get to scale based on how far they are behind. I think they need to hit 2 items and start forcing fights, start using these Ashe arrows, start using TP flanks if they can, and just really contest any aggressive vision that Ion starts to go for. As we see the Ashe arrow come out, but Styx has the cleanse, Styx has the arcane shift. It's just so easy for him to get out of these dangerous missions. But the one saving grace of Fury now is that Styx doesn't have cleanse, so the next arrow when it lands could mean a kill.
It certainly could be, and you could see he hesitated for a second there, wondering, do I need to burn this or not? Have I covered enough distance with the arcane shift? Ultimately didn't want to leave that one to chance. There's a big bounty to be claimed if he does fall on down, so it is not worth greeting it on this occasion. Solar Flare goes out, Hooper gives him a nice little thumbs up because that one's a miss. TP from Fury into the mid lane, waiting for it is Doraemon. Welcomes Choke back into the lane and says, maybe next time you won't TP here. So as soon as he comes in, he falls on down yet again. Doraemon, note, is just unable to fall on down. He is a Titan at 3-0-9. And he just tanks up the world and more. They switch their attention to Coley. He jumps in, has the moves, gets it done. Very clean with his ward hopping. And Doraemon says, watch this. Dashes forward, going all out with a flash to cover even extra ground. And you wouldn't put past Styx to jump inside the base and really put the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's just way too easy for them. A really nice, flank coming out of Ion. Chirp gets caught off guard as he's TPing in to try save his AD carry, who was, caught off guard by Doraemon coming from the side lane. But he just lands in front of Styx, and we look at Styx's inventory and the amount of damage he's able to output right now. It's, uncontested right now for the rest of this team.
Yeah, it's very, very strong right now. And this just feels, watching again, very rough from Chirp, right? You're thinking, surely I'm in a prime position here because we have such a numbers mismatch, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, and just a really nice ult as well from Styx. He jumps over the wall, throws the true shot barrage across multiple members, does so much damage, and it's so hard for Fury to be able to contest what is happening right now, the front to back. And I'd really like to see them just, try find these outnumbered scenarios where, Ion go a bit too aggressive for vision, and that's when they should really strike.
So it does seem like they're missing just a little bit of ability to group up and be as strong in their convictions of taking down key targets like Ion have been. They've been linking up phenomenally well and able to find the crucial targets when it does matter. I mean, I look at their mid and jungle, mid and AD carry right now. Both one single death, both worth a ton of gold. Both have 2 items and they have spiked out of control with their tiers being rushed.
Yeah, and you did mention it, like there's a lot of gold in them, these bounties. If these shutdowns do go over to Fury, like these carries in Chirp and Hooper, slightly behind, but they are picking up their second items now. So if they do get these shutdowns, it's going to be able to accelerate them forward. We're only seeing like slight component mismatches right now in the inventory, so they have the damage. I think the main problem right now is Doraemon and how much of a brick he is. Like when I look at his inventory, like how does Hooper do damage to that? He has no armor pen, he has no Borg. I think Doraemon is just way too strong right now.
Certainly was to be evidence in that last fight. Look at this though, Coley once again waiting. Who's going to show up? Maple Syrup, that's not where you want to be, buddy. The Baron bait was a dance. The dance, unfortunately, you have really joined in the tango with. In they go for another fight. There is the keeper's verdict to knock back Hex Flash, but he's going to join in all the same. It's a 1-for-1 so far. True Shot Barrage padding across multiple members. Fido stuck in the middle, and Maple Syrup not long for the world. Nox and Chirp forced to scurry away to opposite sides, split the focus of Ion both left and right. But that's the Zenith Blades, and that's another target seemingly about to fall on down. He's trying to do as much as he can, Chirp, and he has done enough. He's managed to survive, but can the same be afforded to Nox as Styx doesn't have the damage to take him too?
Yeah, and I think Chirp has done enough damage. He's stuck enough damage onto these members that they won't be able to start up the Baron, We see them going for the recalls on the map. So this is, not so bad for Fury. They've blown multiple summoners, but if we do get the replay to come out, I think it's just so hard for Hooper to do damage. If you watch how this fight plays out, I think he fell down to almost, it was like an Ori QW into another Q, and I think he was just out of the fight completely. Really nice flash from Joby though, reacts to the wall slam coming out of Nox, so we just see Hooper pretty much gets sold out by the support and one combo from the mid laner, unable to get one auto attack off the entire fight. But look how well this fight still went for Fury, even though one of their main DPS just wasn't here skinny.
Yeah, despite that, as you mentioned already, Chirp was certainly doing so much damage, even if it isn't to be reflected in them finding kills or assists. It certainly was in terms of keeping them low enough where, again, go back to your previous point, right, of claiming those bounties could certainly be the difference. There's a 1k shutdown now on Styx's Ezreal as he hits double digits with 10 kills to his name. So certainly showcasing if I do get to play one of my best champions, one of the champions I'm well known for, I'm going to make it count. Now, speak of the devil, he could be in a bit of a situation as he's surrounded by 5, collapsed upon in mid. But in your end, it's Ezreal. Hex Flash will soak up the Ash Shot, and Finder will go for even further damage, but they go for the kick, they protect them, the True Shot Barrage in an Ever Corridor hits onto 3. Jovi waiting for the angle to try and hit that shockwave. It's gonna come on through, and nobody has died yet except for Hooper. The first one again, it can't be him as the casualty, but Aina always able to get access.
Yeah, like we just saw how much presence Doraemon has in these team fights. He throws the Pathmaker down the choke, 3 members, stuns them all up, kidnaps Hooper, and Hooper is once again first to fall down. Like, unfortunately, we saw the hula hoop ult coming out of Jovi because he had the ball position on Doraemon as he used it all out to get out of the fight. But it's just so easy based on this gold lead. They can't find the lockdown onto this Ezreal because he's so mobile, and since he's so far ahead, even though he won't be doing the same amount of damage as Ash with the same items, he's so far ahead, so he's going to be doing so much damage, Gimme.
Yeah, he's going to stay that much more relevant for that much longer is the real takeaway from that one, right? The 10-1. Happy scoreline with the damage done as well, with the Serrildas there to boot. Old Ezreal would have absolutely loved this one. New one, maybe not so much, but still he's going to find a fair bit of value, as they will guarantee that the soul is theirs. As Nox is going to go for a Hail Mary across the wall, and Styx is like, not on my watch.
Honestly respectable. It's a nice try. Very hard without any vision. He almost got it though. I will admit, it was a nice read, completely blind. We see that Maple Syrup's going forward here, but I don't think he wants to be in this position, Skimmy.
I don't think so. You're getting run down by a support right now, but the real threat is Orianna. In comes Coley, says if you can't deal 1, how about 2? He flashes away, but the Zenith Blade was always there to follow. If that wasn't to connect, there was so many more projectiles coming his way. And it is a very one-sided affair. 25 minutes in, 31 kills to 7 and now a 10k lead.
Yeah, and we see the death cap coming through from Zerby on the Orianna, so he's already scaled up in a really nice tower flare onto Chirp's head.
Well, that's why we understand Leona, as well as Ezreal, is a little bit strong in tandem, right? Look at that, just cycling through the cooldowns and layering that Leona passive for all that extra on-demand burst. So hard to try and get through right now. They've got 4 Void Grub stacks, they've got a Baron-inspired cannon minion, as well as a pretty sizable wave. Will they look to try and take down one of the Nexus turrets is the next question.
Yeah, I think absolutely with this push, with the Baron, with these waves coming in, I think it'll be surprising if Ion isn't able to end the game here.
Airball with a shockwave, but it's not going to stop them as they continue to go on through. Hexflash and Cody linking up beautifully. Into the backline goes Maple Syrup, surrounded by 5. He wished he had a Gore Drinker that could heal so much like in seasons gone by. But that's not where we're at right now. A second turret is next on the menu. And now Ion are really farming them inside their fountain, unable to leave the base itself. And Styx will cop a unending despair and say, well, let's put a bow on it, let's wrap things up, and let's focus on game 2.
Yeah, and the one thing on the team that can take down Doraemon is the Fountain Laser with that 1000 true damage coming out every second, so he finally falls down. But really clean game from Ion. I think this is cool. It's a very nice identity and very strong laning presence coming out of all these members.
A different look, another champion, another combo, something else to add into the wheelhouse of are we ready for it and do we have a counter prepared? It's certainly ramping up the split.